have Shannon Trudy back. And to rush back for a doctor's appointment that ended up being canceled. Oh. Don't you feel sad for him? We're just glad to have you back. We're glad, for whatever reason you spread it on, we're glad to have you back. And if some of you don't remember what Gail Wheeler looks like, we're glad to have her back. She has been here. How many studies has it been?
I missed 4.
4. That's unusual for Gail.
Well, I did see her on a milk carton.
And in our prayers also, we want to remember these folks in particular. Janet Hank Wood had surgery on Friday at St. Joe's Hospital. I'm hesitating here because I'm trying to think, was it Thursday or Friday? Anyway, she should be home now. And Linda Henderson was kind of looking out for her real closely. But she is going to be limited in what she can lift and all that stuff for quite some time. And she's got her hands full with her husband Dave needing assistance from time to time. So let's please keep them in our prayers. And Donna White has now been transferred as of last week to, I think she transferred on Friday to Hillside. And she is undergoing Hillside rehab at Hillside. And I think we'll be there for a couple of weeks with what Jeannie saw her yesterday. And she has been diagnosed with MS. And she's getting some treatment for that. And hopefully, it sounds to me like they're optimistic that the paralysis on her right side is going to yield to this medicine. So she'll be able to do much better. We also want to remember Stewart's in our prayers. And I have to tell you, Burdette called and left a message, and kind of teary sounding, but that little visit we did last Sunday evening really did them a lot of good. Did them a lot of good. So thank you to those that took part in that. It was a really good thing. We also want to remember Amy Rossi in our prayers. She had another follow-up visit at the clinic and some complications, and she's still not well by any stretch. So please remember her. And Debbie was just getting to feel a little better when she fell out of the truck on Wednesday night. Actually fell off the pavement. Face first, did a face plant, and she's banged up and bruised a little bit. So Vic, you are going to have to think about a nursing home. Jeannie thinks about that a lot for me. All right, now, we're not playing anymore, Dan Kennedy. We want to know, who are you going to root for? This is serious stuff now.
That Indians when they're home and they're
All right, that'll work. As long as it comes out 4-3. One more thing, and then we'll have a prayer. I'm passing around a Terry Tour sign-up, which is a little bit late, and it's going to be for this Saturday. And as I say this, I don't want to discourage you from going. If you'd like to go, that'll be wonderful. But if you just, I never want people to sign up for this because you think, well, if I don't, Terry's going to be mad or something. If we don't go, I've got leaves to get up. It's not going to hurt me a whole lot. I'm sorry I don't have a pen to go around with it, but if you'd like to go, please sign up and we'll see. And I'm not going to put a number on it, but if it ends up that there's just a handful that want to go, we may reschedule it for later. Let's bow in prayer. Father, we thank you for the gathering today, and we're grateful to have Shannon Trudy home and Bob and Maggie. And we thank you too, Father, for the wonderful evening we had with Burdette and Charlene, and we pray that they were encouraged, and we pray that Burdette can get fully well and be with us for years to come and strengthen Charlene. And Father, for some of our younger ones, for Amy Rossi and for Donna White, we pray for those those two, that you would help them to be able to heal and to get better. And we thank you for Gail being better, and we pray for Janet that she can recover from her surgery. Thank you for the joy that we derive in coming together as a church family, and thank you for our love for each other, and may it grow. Bless us today as we study together. Through Christ we pray. Amen. Open your Bibles to Exodus chapter 33. And I'm sorry, I must have really been discombobulated last week. I thought I had the newsletter okay, and then I went back to the mail last week. There's something on the front of it that's the midweek Bible study is way off. But today's newsletter reads October 16th. It's a blue one, but it should read October 23rd. Right, today's 23rd or 25th. 23rd. See, I have this combined. Exodus chapter 33. This follows the golden calf incident. You can imagine that sometimes I'm trying to think anthropomorphically here as we try to assign God similar emotions that we might as a human being have. When you've had a really big down and out, or a really big confrontation, maybe it's between a husband and wife, maybe between parents and children, or brothers and sisters in Christ, and it's one thing, okay, you can forgive, but then there's a hangover there of sorts that you wonder what's going to be next, you know. And so I don't know what exactly is happening here, but let's look at Moses comes down the mount. There is some measure of punishment, if you want to call it that. It's execution by a sword that is doled out. Whether everybody that deserved it is actually executed, we're not told. The chapter ends by implying, if I remember correctly, that the Lord is going to make things. Well, let's see. Let's read the end of chapter 32. God tells Moses, "Go now, lead the people where I told you. Behold, my angel shall go before you. Nevertheless, in the day when I will punish them for their sin." The Lord smote the people because of what they did with the calf which Aaron had made. So there's already been 3,000 killed with the sword by means of execution as punishment, but it still sounds like more punishments to come. So here's how we begin chapter 33. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Depart." They've been encamped at Mount Sinai, Mount Horeb, for quite a while now. But he's now telling them, let's move on with the trip. It's not instantaneous, but they're getting ready to go on. "Depart, go up from here, you and the people whom you have brought up from the land of Egypt, to the land of which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, to your descendants will I give it." And look at verse 2, this is important. "I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, the Jebusite. Go up to a land flowing with milk and honey, for I will..." Wait a minute. Okay, so far I want you to contrast this. God says, "I'll send an angel." Now, if that just meant that, in other words, an angel to prepare the way to fight against their enemies. But then he says in the latter part of verse 3, "For I will not go in your midst, because you are an obstinate people, lest I destroy you along the way." Okay, so this is God. He's still irritated by this golden calf thing, and rightfully so. He's holy. make it sound like us, get all bent out of shape about something that's not important. So God says, I'll send an angel. It's kind of a compromise on God's part. He's not going to totally abandon him. I'll send an angel, he'll help you, but I'm not going. Because if I go, a bunch more of you are going to die. Because I can't tolerate your obstinance and your rebellion and your idolatry. Okay, so that gives us the preface to what this chapter is about. You probably have a heading later on where it says Moses intercedes. Well, verse 4 says, when the people heard this sad word, they went into mourning. Maybe shock is a better word to use here. And it goes on to say, none of them put on his ornaments. Now, what are we talking about here? Does anybody have a footnote on this? We're in verse 4. When the people heard that God said, I'm not going with you, they went into mourning and they refused to put on their ornaments. Anybody got a footnote, or you want to tell us what that means? Don? No? Gail, what are you thinking? I think part of it's jewelry. I think just think mourning, you're going to be subdued. You're not putting on your jewelry. You're not putting on your garments to kind of strut your stuff. Instead, you're going into a time of contrition and remorse. That's what I think is behind this idea. It's cute to me to think of jewelry as ornaments. It's like a Christmas tree. Now therefore put off your ornaments from you, that I may know what I will do with you. In other words, God is telling them, I want to see some remorse. You need to be in mourning for what you've done. So the sons of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments from Mount Horeb onward. They're journeying now in their very plain and casual garments.
Would this be a similar gesture as sackcloth and ashes?
Yeah, I think so, although I don't know if, maybe it's not that extreme, but maybe it's exactly that. I'm not sure. It doesn't say sackcloth and ashes.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the same. Now we have a little parentheses, not technically in the text, but it seems to be that. Here in verse 7, Moses used to take the tent. Remember we've talked about the tent of meeting? Now the tent of meeting is going to evolve into something much more detailed and impressive when it finally gets constructed, and that is the tabernacle. And then, of course, the tabernacle is going to evolve into the temple, which is really, really impressive. But right now there's a tent of meeting, and we don't want to downplay it. It's probably a pretty impressive thing on its own, but it says, now, again, notice the language. And I often tell people, when you see similar terms, it ought to make you, it ought to get your attention. So here's what it says in verse 7. Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp. Outside the camp. Did you hear that? Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, a good distance from the camp. And he called it a tent of meeting. And it came about that everyone who sought the Lord would go outside to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Now, are we getting redundant here or what? All right, now, would someone read for us Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 13? Read verses 12 and 13. Hebrews 12 and 13. Hello?
and make straight paths for your feet, so that the limb which is lame.
Did I say 13? 13, 12, and 13.
Okay,
That was probably my bad.
Therefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people through his own blood, suffered outside the gate. Hence let us go out to him outside the camp, bearing his reproach.
Do you think that's just accidental that language is like that? It sounds just like it's emphasizing the point here. And we don't, this comes under the big umbrella of eschatology, but there's something here where even in Old Testament we call it typology. It's foreshadowing something that's going to happen in the New Testament days that is really meaningful. So the fact that the tent of meeting was set up outside the camp in Old Testament times was a prefiguring of exactly what Vic just read for us in Hebrews 13, verse 13. That Jesus was crucified outside the camp. I'll not get into details on this. If anybody has questions about it or wants to add to it, and you have insight on it, please jump in. When we look at another passage coming later from 2 Corinthians chapter 3, this will become maybe a little bit more helpful, but the idea of Jesus going outside the camp, salvation was not going to come through the old covenant. It wasn't going to come at the base of Mount Sinai. Salvation was coming through a new and living covenant, a new and living way. So Jesus brought salvation to the Jews, but it did not come in the midst of the camp. Under the governance of the old covenant, Jesus went outside the camp in order to bring about redemption. And then he calls New Testament folks to follow him as they go outside the camp. They're leaving Judaism. They're leaving the old covenant. That's not where salvation is found. That's not where the presence of God is. That's the real deal. And in fact, it's talking about something, well, we'll get to it here in a minute. If we don't, I want you to look at, read 2 Corinthians 3 as a anybody want to add to that? Well, to speed through this just a little bit, it came about whenever Moses went out to the tent, verse 8, all the people would arise and stand, each at the entrance of his tent, and gaze after Moses until he entered the tent. And it came about when Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud, this is really rather dramatic, would stand at the entrance of the tent, and the Lord would speak with Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance of the tent, all the people would arise and worship, each at the entrance of his tent. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, just as a man speaks with his friend. When Moses returned to the camp, his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, although he's not really young at that time, but he's younger than Moses, he would not depart from the tent. Well, verse 12, this is back, we're done with the parenthesis, and we'll come back to it in just a minute. There's something that happens to Moses when he goes into the tent meeting, when he speaks to God face to face, and that's a figure of speech now, because we also are going to read other comments to balance that no one can see the Lord. Verse 12, Moses said to the Lord, now this is a little bit, you might even call this brazen. This is Moses making an argument before God. But he knows God evidently so well that he knows that he can push this point because of God's love for the people of Israel. Verse 12, Moses said to the Lord, see thou dost say to me, bring up this people. Okay, God, you've told me, all right, it's time to bring them up to the land of promise. But thou thyself has not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Moreover, you said, I have known you by name, and you have also found favor in my sight. Now therefore I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, let me know your ways, that I may know thee, so that I might find favor in thy sight. Consider too, God, Moses talking to God, that this nation is your people. And he said, Moses, he said, my presence shall go with you. That's what you told us originally. This is Moses arguing before God. You told us that you would lead us to the promised land and that we were your people and that you would guide us and sustain us and all of that. In verse 15, here he gets to the crux of the argument. Then he said to him, Moses said to God, if you do not go with us, don't take us from here. Don't cause us to go to the promised land if you're not going with us. It's almost as if he's saying, if you're not going to be our God and lead the way, then we don't want to go to the promised land. There's no sense in us going. It's a pretty strong argument. Verse 16, for how then can it be known that I have found favor in thy sight, I and thy people? Is it not by your going with us, so that we, I and the people, may be distinguished from all other people who are upon the face of the earth? In other words, the very thing that makes us as the nation of Israel unique and very special is that we have a living God who moves and breathes among us. And he travels with us and he does great signs and wonders, and it's not like pagan gods who fall asleep on the job, So Moses is making the case pretty strongly, and verse 17, the Lord said to Moses, I will also do this of which you have spoken, for you've found favor in my sight. In other words, God is thankful that Moses has had the courage to call this to his attention. Not that he didn't know it already, but he said, and I have known you by name. Then Moses said, I pray thee, then show me thy glory. And he said, I myself will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim the name of the Lord before you, and I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and show compassion upon whom I will show compassion. But he said, you cannot see my face, for no man can see my face and live. Then the Lord said to him, there's a place by me, and you shall stand there on the rock, and it will come about that while my glory is passing by, that I will put you in the cleft of the rock, and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take back my hand away from you, and you shall see my back, but my face you shall not see. I don't know who the songwriter is that we wrote. Somebody wrote a song about that, didn't they? Who is it again? Yeah, was that Fanny Crosby? He hideth my soul in the cleft of the rock, and covers me there with his hand. Yeah, that's what I got this text. Okay, so it seems I have a question in the notes here. Verses 14 through 17. Did God change his mind about his presence? He did. Now this troubles some people because they've got this really unfounded definition of God as changeless. Well, he is changeless in the sense that he doesn't, he's constant, he's the same, he has the same qualities, but the changeless part of God doesn't mean he doesn't ever change his mind. Otherwise, think how that would affect the whole prayer. Part of intercessory prayer is to invoke. And that's what Moses does here. And at first God says, and I'm paraphrasing here, or just putting it in the vernacular, because of this golden calf thing, I'm not going with you to the promised land. You can go ahead and go, and I will agree to send an angel to help you fight your battles and so forth, but I'm not going. And the people go into shock. They start mourning. They take off their ornaments. Moses bows before the Lord and says, basically an argument, Lord, we're your people. And if you're not going, then don't send us, because we can't go without you. And God is moved by Moses' appeal, and so he does answer back that I will go. Verse 17 again. I will also do this thing which you have spoken. So God does change his mind, and he decides to go with them. Any questions or comments there? First, he's not going to go, and now he agrees, I will go with you. My presence will be with you. Vic?
God sees that the people are wonderful what they did. That they recognize what they did was against God. And now they're remorseful. And Moses is appealing to God, and he says, if you're not going with us, just leave us here. He's recognizing, he's telling God, I recognize that without you, we're good.
What might have altered that decision, even if Moses had made intercession on behalf of people and reasoned with God about why God needs to go because of his promise to them, if the people were not shown any contrition, I don't know if God would have changed his mind. And Vic's point's a good one. God is not only hearing the prayer by Moses, but he's seeing the actions on the part of the people. And it's sometimes hard to grasp the bigness of God and how God interacts with us. But evidently, as we learn from this Old Testament text, what we do and say matters to God. So God changes his mind based upon the prayer of Moses and the actions of the people. Anybody comments or questions there? This next section in chapter 34, we'll go ahead and begin this, and we may end up coming back to it at the start of next Sunday. Brian's going to be teaching on a subject of his choice. It's a pastoral, so we may come back to it in a couple of weeks here. The Lord says to Moses, cut out for yourselves 2 new stones, or 2 stone tablets, like the former ones. And as I asked in my notes, why does he need to cut out new ones? Yeah, remember when he came down the mountain with Joshua, and they spied the golden calf, or this golden calf comes into sight, and they see all of the yeah, that's a good word for revelry. Yeah, or Keith, what was your word? Debauchery. And sometimes, again, the King James is notorious for euphemisms, but the people were playing. But it wasn't patty cakes, it was serious stuff. Then Moses threw down the tables of stone, which, as it seems to emphasize in those earlier chapters, these things were written with the finger of God. By the very hand of God, on front and back. Talk about a relic that would have been sought after maybe there's something providential in this too, and I'm not implying that the second set of tablets is no less significant than the first, but okay, so back to the text. We're going to have to quit here in a minute. The Lord said to Moses, cut out for yourself 2 stone tablets like the former ones, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the former tablets, which you shattered. So the drama may not quite be here like it was in the first place, but it's God doing the writing. So be ready by morning and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai. Now, this is after Moses tells the people, I want you to go ahead and go. But before he goes, he's going back up on the mountain to get the tablets. Be ready by morning, come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, present yourself there to me on top of the mountain, and no man is to come up with you, nor let any man be seen anywhere on the mountain, even the flocks and herds may not graze in front of that mountain. So he cut out 2 stone tablets like the former ones, and Moses rose early in the morning and went up to Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and he took 2 stone tablets in his hand. There's almost as much drama there as before. And the Lord descended in the cloud and stood there with him, and he called upon the name of the Lord, and the Lord passed by in front of him and proclaimed, the Lord God, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in loving kindness and truth, who keeps loving kindness for thousands, who forgives iniquity, transgression, and sin, yet he will by no means leave the guilty unpunished, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children and on the grandchildren to the 3rd and 4th generation. And Moses made haste to bow low toward the earth and worship. And he said, if now I have found favor in thy sight, O Lord, I pray, let the Lord go along in our midst. The earlier chapter this shows the changing of God's mind even more precisely. The other implies it, but this, again, Moses prays again, and he says, if now I've found favor in your sight, go with us. Let the Lord go along in our midst, even though the people are so obstinate, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us as thine own possession. Anybody comment or question there? All right, let's close up shop here for today, and in 2 weeks we'll come back to this, but I want you to read carefully 2 Corinthians chapter 3, the whole 3rd chapter, because that will play in again to this. The title of this lesson is The Face of Moses. Keep that in mind when you're reading 2 Corinthians 3. Anybody have any closing comments? Okay, be sure to greet our visitors if we have any today. That sign-up sheet, whoever has it, would you put it on the back table?